Where Ilhan Omar's winery is. You can see that a different winery is here, punched down cellars.
What does this note say?
E Street Crew does not make wine here. They were a client many years ago and have ceased operation. Their operating address is linked to this address like all other client wineries because of state and federal filings. So I wonder what else they have to show for it. What do you think about that?
I think they're just trying.
Hold on, you need to see this. A journalist actually went to the address of Ilhan Omar's multi-million-dollar winery, and what she found is going to leave you speechless. This isn't just a political rumor anymore. We're looking at physical proof of a business that doesn't actually exist. Check out the sign on the door.
So let's see, this is Suite B. Again, that is the address where Ilhan Omar's winery is. You can see that a different winery is here, punched down cellars.
What does this note say?
E Street Crew does not make wine here. They were a client many years ago and have ceased operation. Their operating address is linked to this address like all other client wineries because of state and federal filings. So I wonder what else they have to show for it. What do you think about that?
I think they're just trying to keep as much distance between them and their business and Ilhan Omar's as much as possible.
Yeah.
You guys just do a little more research before.
Well, yeah, that's what we're kind of doing right now.
Would you be so
But
kind
this
to
is,
tell us
do you know
about
what this
the-
place is?
No, that's why we came
It's a
back here.
custom crush place. A bunch of people use it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like renting instead of owning.
Yeah,
So,
I see.
so there's like about 40 of us in here
yeah. Okay.
making wine.
Yeah. It's
So-
we're just trying to like just figure out what is really going on. We see that
Next time, just call, because there's nothing going on here.
Yeah,
So.
well, cool.
The pastor told us that punched down cellars makes wine for 14 different.
They don't make wine.
Or crushes.
People.
Crush it and you hold it
We
for 'em?
no, we winemakers make wine in the same facility.
Oh, cool.
So-
Which, because my family, we've been part of like members of like certain wineries and stuff. So is there like a high-end brand that you guys like hold for or anything like that?
No, I don't own the place.
Okay.
I'm just one of the winemakers here.
cool.
And there's a bunch of us
Yeah.
under one roof.
Awesome.
That's all.
Well,
it
what's
is.
your winery's name?
Well, I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
But it's not that one.
Well, yeah, obviously.
He didn't really seem very happy.
No,
Do they have people coming to check this place out or something that they needed to put a sign on it? I mean,
probably.
I haven't noticed anybody
I would
else
imagine
online
so because I mean that company's being sued.
You can literally see the confusion on the face of the winemaker there. He's basically telling her, we don't know who these people are, and they definitely don't make wine here. It's wild because this specific address is what's listed on official federal filings. Think about that for a second. If you're claiming to own a winery that's worth millions, but the people actually working at that location have to put up a sign saying you aren't there, something is seriously wrong. It feels like a movie plot where someone sets up a fake front, but they forgot to actually hire any actors to play the part. Look at how the guy in the background tries to avoid the camera. He knows something is off. This kind of custom crush setup is usually for boutique labels, but for a sitting congresswoman to have her name tied to a place that explicitly denies her presence, that's the definition of a red flag. We're watching a real-time investigation uncover what looks like a total phantom operation. It's not just about the wine. It's about where that money is actually flowing if it's not going into grapes and barrels. This letter from the Oversight Committee is the smoking gun that takes this from a conspiracy to a full-blown legal nightmare. When James Comer starts asking for communications and financial records, you know the heat is on. They aren't just looking at the winery anymore. They're looking at the Rose Lake Capital firm too. Look at those numbers. Going from 50 grand to 30 million in a single year? That's not smart investing. That's a statistical anomaly that would trigger an audit for literally anyone else in the country. The most interesting part of this letter is the mention of unknown individuals investing to gain influence. They're basically accusing them of selling access to the U.S. government through a shell company. It's rare for a committee to go after its own members like this, which tells you they've already seen enough evidence to bypass the usual ethics channels and go straight for the jugular. If those documents show what we think they do, this could be the biggest scandal to hit the squad since they took office. You can almost feel the tension through the text of that letter. It's a formal demand that usually precedes a subpoena.
How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses where they come in. She had under $1,000 of net worth and her husband didn't have much, and suddenly now they're multimillionaires. Is there a money laundering operation here? And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? And nobody can seem to find it. Yeah, the winery may not exist, and the firm may be just really a name only, as you say, a WeWork office. Big deal. So that's why the investigation needs to be done. And suddenly all that $30 million, I think you're going to find, I'll make a speculation and prediction, that $30 million came from sources that are illegal, period.
Steve Forbes doesn't just throw around words like money laundering for clicks. When the chairman of Forbes magazine says your finances look crooked, people listen. He points out something so obvious but so overlooked. How does someone enter Congress with less than $1,000 to their name and suddenly become an investing genius worth 30 to 40 million? It's the kind of math that just doesn't add up unless there's an outside factor involved. He mentions the Biden DOJ investigation stalling out, which adds a layer of political drama to the whole thing. It's like we're seeing two different versions of justice. One where things get swept under the rug, and another where the truth finally gets forced out by independent journalists and oversight. Forbes has seen every type of financial success story in the book, and he's clearly not buying this one. The way he frames it as a crooked operation really sets the stage for everything that follows. He's essentially predicting the fallout we're seeing right now, proving that when the numbers look this weird, there's almost always a dark secret behind the curtain. Look at this chart. It's absolutely insane. A 300 times increase in revenue in 12 months? Most successful tech startups would kill for a 10% growth rate like that, let alone jumping from 15,000 to 5 million without producing a single bottle of wine. It's a literal impossibility in the physical world of commerce. If you aren't selling a product and you aren't providing a service, where is that 5 million coming from? This is the core of the shell business allegation. When you see it laid out in black and white like this, it makes the Phantom Winery story even more damning. It's not just a small error in filing, it's a massive influx of cash that has no visible source. The foreign processing center connection is the cherry on top. It suggests that this isn't just a domestic issue, but something that could involve international interests. You've got to wonder who else is on those investor lists that they're refusing to release. This kind of growth is usually reserved for lottery winners, not winery owners who don't actually own a winery.
You make all this income from the rental property.
Sir, I submit a financial disclosure, just like everybody else. There's nothing to see here. Thank you.
Is it appropriate for members to make so much money when they're in office? Should there be rules there? Financial disclosure reports show that the wealth of Presley and her husband Conan Harris swelled from $12,000 in 2019 to as much as $8 million. 5 rental properties earn them up to $350,000 annually. Presley once advocated to suspend rent during the pandemic. She pushed policies for struggling homeowners.
These little to no cost bills help people remain housed.
Presley's husband is an ex-con who went from serving a decade in jail before they were married for drug trafficking to raking in up to $1 million a year as a business and management consultant.
There are many times where we can see that the spouse is the person who may be bringing in the most.
And it's not just Ilhan. Ayanna Presley's jump from negative net worth to $8 million is just as staggering. Look at those rental properties, 5 of them, including one in the ultra-exclusive Martha's Vineyard. This is the same person who is pushing for rent-free policies and wealth redistribution. It's the ultimate rules for thee but not for me scenario. When she gets asked about it, notice the deflection. She just points to her financial disclosure like that explains away the massive wealth accumulation. But the math on $35,000 a month in rental income for someone who claims to represent the struggling homeowner is a tough pill for voters to swallow. Her husband's background as a consultant raking in $1 million a year after his past is also raising eyebrows. It seems like being in the squad is the most profitable career move anyone could make. The hypocrisy is what really stings here, using the rhetoric of the working class to build a private empire of real estate and influence.
On congressional service.
The idea that people's net worth balloons at that level is yet another erosion of public trust.
There was one of the first aphorisms I learned is politics is the art of turning influence into affluence.
Now, the money also followed Presley's fellow squad member Ilhan Omar to Congress. A House committee is probing how assets belonging to Omar's husband grew into the millions. Brett?
Chad Pergham, live on Capitol Hill. Chad, thanks.
This final clip really hits home on why this matters. It's the erosion of public trust. When politics becomes the art of turning influence into affluence, the system breaks down. You see these reporters on Capitol Hill trying to get straight answers, but all they get is stonewalling. That quote about right-wing reports being used as a shield is a classic move to avoid addressing the actual numbers. But the numbers don't have a political party, they're just facts. Whether you're on the left or the right, seeing a public servant's net worth balloon by millions while they're in office should make you ask questions. We're watching the very fabric of accountability being tested here. If these members can get away with shell companies and phantom wineries, what's stopping everyone else? It's a wake-up call that we need to stop looking at the slogans and start looking at the balance sheets. The truth is usually hidden in the fine print. This final clip really hits home on why this matters. It's the erosion of public trust. When politics becomes the art of turning influence into affluence, the system breaks down. You see these reporters on Capitol Hill trying to get straight answers, but all they get is stonewalling. That quote about right-wing reports being used as a shield is a classic move to avoid addressing the actual numbers. But the numbers don't have a political party, they're just facts. Whether you're on the left or the right, seeing a public servant's net worth balloon by millions while they're in office should make you ask questions. We're watching the very fabric of accountability being tested here. If these members can get away with shell companies and phantom wineries, what's stopping everyone else? It's a wake-up call that we need to stop looking at the slogans and start looking at the balance sheets. The truth is usually hidden in the fine print.